Today we are going to cover the first part of my 1 through 60 persona leveling guide called Persona Leveling Guide, meaning that if you have personas available, it'll be really easy to follow this guide. This is for the Runes of Kunark expansion, which is going to be released with the new TLPs, Tormax and Teaks, so it will work well there, but it will also work at all times for anything in the Runes of Kunark. This video is going to be broken down into 4 sections. The first one that I covered today will be 1 through 20. We'll do the 20 through 30, 30 through 40, 40 through 50, and 50 through 60. The 1 through 20 section is relatively long, and the way to look at this is that if you could go anywhere, the level, which you can with personas, these would be the best camps that you could find 1 through 20. Now the first 1 through 5 levels, I got a couple listings in this 1 through 20 guide, but you can do 1 through 5 pretty much anywhere. But it can't be a 1 through 20 guide without the 1 through 5. So I got a couple areas in there that I would optimally pick if I could. The first of the 1 through 20 guide is the Crush Bone entrance. And no, I do not mean the entrance area in Greater Fadark. I mean actually go into Crushbone, make it past the level 10 guards, and farm this little area up here. The benefit of this is that this zone goes all the way up to level 18, and you could just stay here and continue leveling. Second area, Field of Bone Spiders. This was in one of my earlier guides for the Ixer. There is a underground tunnel in that highlighted area on the map in the Field of Bone where there are approximately 10 to 15 spiders ranging from levels 1 through maybe 4 or 5. And this would be a really good spot to do levels 1 through 4. The Fallen, the top level, meaning the main floor when you zone in, there are 4 rooms that you can get to that are not locked. Levels 4 through 10. All of these rooms will be packed and probably camped, but if you can get into any of these areas or a lighter pick, this is a very good area. One of the key areas I would pick to get to level 10. Black Burrow Caves. This also appears in one of the other guides for the Kano start. You can either go through the back door to the right, up in this area, or you can jump off the little bridge onto the path and start to run down. But basically, you want to get into the caves. There's a good spot down there by a little overpass, and you can sit there and pull 15 plus mobs to this area. The South Karana Undead. This is a relatively very fast spawn time, and you can get swarmed and overrun pretty easily. The spawn time is crazy fast. I think it's something like 3 minutes. But in the very northwestern part, almost right when you zone in the South Karana from North Karana, there is a grouping of undead here. And the Crush Bone entrance in Greater Fadark for levels 6 to 10. That's these orc camps ranging from level 6 to 10, and the guards are level 10 up here. But all throughout here is a pretty good area to grind from level 6 to 10. And staying in Crushbone, the west side, which I talked about at the start, this west side by the Slaver Mines and the Orc Warden is levels 7 through 12. You can pretty much clear that whole area if you get the camp. And then the Field of Bone center area, which is north of this halfway point, you'll kind of run down these ramps here. If you're coming from Kabilis, someone made fun of me how I said that. I have no clue how to say it. Past this little center area that's noticeable in this pit, these mobs are higher level, and this would be a good area to level from 7 to 15. Nectulus Forest, this also appeared in the guide. These 2 camps done together gives you 15 plus mobs, I believe, and it's just a really good area to level from 8 to 12. The Lava Storm Drakes. Just north of the Druid Ring, when you zone in from Nectulus Forest, there is, I think, a hill and just drakes that roam around here, and you can get a good at least 10 plus mobs here, if not 15 plus. The Unrest Courtyard, levels 10 through 17, by far the best area to go, levels 10 through 17 in these expansions. However, if you do not get there early on in the game, this will be swarmed by power levelers, as the Unrest Courtyard is one of the main power leveling spots as well as the inside area, and it appears in my power leveling guides. So make sure you get here early on in the expansion, because this should be permacamped by power levelers. I mean, the people are going to be max level in the first few days, if not that day, and they're going to start offering AoE power leveling services. I don't know that they'll hit this spot up right away, but there will be people power leveling here. North Row Undead Ruins, another hot spot with fast respawn timers. I think there's some lower level mobs that roam in the area, but there is a set of higher level mobs also that spawn here. Good area from levels 10 to 15. Eastern Karana Spiders. I really like this spot, although I don't like getting to this spot. This is on the way to High Pass Hold, and there is no fast way to get here from anywhere unless you're going to port into the Druid Rings. Early on, when you're starting off, you're going to have to run all the way from Kanos or from East Common Lands. Pretty long run, but the Eastern Karana Spiders is a very good spot to farm silks. It can net you some serious cash for people that are trade skilling, and there are a lot of spiders in this area. You will have to move around, so it's not like a set camp, but there is a pretty significant density of spiders in this area right here. Kurn's Tower, first level. Kurn's Tower has a bunch of levels up and some that go down. If you just sit on the first floor, it's a pretty good spot. Go levels 10 through 16. There are a lot of mobs. The zone is relatively big, so some of the poles get kind of long. But in that front area there, you should be able to grab 8 to 10 mobs pretty easily. And the Lake of Ill Omen, North Field 10 to 16. This, I think, is relatively less frequented than it should be. It's the same type of field killing that we used to do back on the live servers outside of the fortress, where you would just kind of sit and pull stuff out of the field. The same thing as sitting at the castle in Dreadlands. This is that same type of hunting. However, if you're powerful enough, you can just sit right in the middle of the field and pull these mobs. And then the South Row Crocs, which is going to be heavily camped come the expansion, one of the most popular spots to level, especially in Classic. But since we're just launching with Kunark, there will still be people coming here in mass, and you'll probably see the majority of people on this continent stay on this continent to do the South Row Crocs. Levels 11 through 19. Crushbone Castle. This camp will be hard to get, but if you do get it, there is a chance at some rares for some loot, and you can go from levels 12 to 18 here relatively easy. The Fallen Bottom Floors. If you do not have the key to climb back up these broken stairs, I think there's a door somewhere. There's a door in here somewhere. I'd have to go look again. But if you jump down this well and don't have the key to get back up, that's where you're going to stay until you die or find a way to port out. So just know that if you're coming here and your plan is to die because you don't have ports or gates and you don't have the key, maybe think about getting the key, or just assume that if you get this camp, you're staying from levels 12 to 18 so that you do not have to come back here after you die. And Warslick's Woods Goblin Fort. This Goblin Fort, 15 plus mobs for sure. Popular area at Warslick's Woods. It'll take you from 13 to 22. Coming here at the level 13 range, you'll have to be picky on your pulls so you don't pull some of the higher level mobs. Oceans of Tears Aviax. This whole island has a significant amount of mobs. I do not think there'll be a lot of people out here because early on in the game, the only way to get here is to swim, and I don't know how many people are really going to have levitate or quick movement speed. So when you actually come into the boat area over here somewhere, that's a long haul. So if you do decide to come out to the Ocean Tears Aviax, make sure it's not camped when you come into here, and plan on staying for the whole time. This is not an area that you want to leave and come back to. Kurn's Tower, upper and lower levels. You can go up or down and keep leveling from levels 14 to 19 in Kurn's Tower. There are mole type creatures toward the bottom levels, and then the undead keep going up to the top. The over there, the northeast field, one of the lesser areas that I think the over there is used for. Most of this zone, especially down in this area, is levels 29 to 39. There are the same type of mobs, the same models, but lower level right up in this corner here in this field. Be careful because there is some static Sarnax up here that are level 30, so stay away from any of the static buildings. And the Field of Bone Manslayers. This should be one of the lesser camped areas, although I don't particularly know since we're starting Runes of Kunark, but this is entered off the shore. There's an underground type cave, and you can get to, I think, 10 or so mobs in there. Not a bad spot to hide yourself away and go from levels 14 to 19. And the Lake of Ill Omen Windmill, one of the popular areas when Runes of Kunark first came out. Just north of the windmill is the same type of killing as north of the lake, but a little bit higher mobs, levels 14 to 18. And that'll wrap it up for levels 1 through 20. The information and spawn times and mobs are all here. As you can see, we talked about the undead runes to the north. There are 11 to 15 mobs with a 3-minute spawn time, so it's very quick spawns, a very good spot to go from levels 5 to 11. Now, some of the ones in the next section will include things that are below level 20, but the 1 through 20 section was getting pretty long as is, so I saved some of those spots for the 20 through 30 because a lot of those ranges, even if they start below 20, head into the low 20s or mid 20s, so they will work for the 20 to 30 section. If you want to check out this guide before I catch up on the videos, it is at everquestguides.com, which is my website. There will be a link in the description of this video. Otherwise, look forward to the next video coming out. If you're looking for information on what the most popular classes were on the Mischief TLP, you can watch that video right here. And if you're wondering what kind of cool things you'll eventually be able to do on a free trade TLP, you can check out this level 1 twink guide I made during the Depths of Dark Hollow expansion. I bought all the gear that I could possibly fit onto a level 1 twink and ended up with over 2500 HP unbuffed. We got P99, we got TLP, we got private servers and test that's free. Some of us pay, some of us don't, some of us play, some of us won't. Did you just break my mess? Did you just train me? Did you just miss a healing? Are you gonna rest me?